Shalom. Just wanted to talk real quick to my brothers out there, the comrades, those who fight for the people, okay, about this system that we live in, alright? This system that we live in, which is an oppressive system. I don't think we look at the scope of things in a broad scope. I think we look through it narrowly. Okay, what do I mean by that? What I'm saying is that a lot of us call ourselves oppressed, okay, especially in this first world country. But we don't understand that we are actually not only oppressed, but we are the oppressor as well. Okay, what do I mean by that? I'm going to start off trying to break this down. All praises to the Most High, and giving this understanding to my brother Zerubbabel, who lived right behind me in the house. My brother broke this down to me, and I've been looking at it ever since, and it makes sense. Okay, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is there's a scripture for my spiritual people. Revelations 18, I want to say 2 or 4, that says, "Come out of Babylon, okay, so you do not be partakers of her sins." And a lot of people have difficulty understanding what this means, okay. But when this got brought up to me, this put it in even more perspective of what I already thought. Okay, because we understand Babylon to be a system, okay, of oppression, okay, and of luxuries that the kings of the earth gain, okay, off of this system. But and a lot of people, a lot of us in this first world country, America, okay, claim to be oppressed, when in all actuality we are oppressed, but we are even the oppressor. Now let's take this to the slavery days. Okay, you had slaves, right, which were called the field Negroes. Then you had a house Negro, okay, and you had master. Now, the field Negroes were the oppressed, okay. They were not the oppressor, could never be the oppressor, okay. They were the lowest of low, okay. All the goods came from their work, okay. Then you got the so-called oppressor, the master, the owner of the plantation. He is the oppressor. Then you got what we call the house Negro. Okay. Now the house Negro is also oppressed. Okay. But the house Negro is also oppressing the field Negroes as well. Okay. What do I mean by that? Well, the house Negro is oppressed because he is working for his master, okay, and not getting paid or not getting his just deservings in his work. Okay, he's not free. He's under the bondage of his master. But he just made a pact, okay, with he made a pact with his slave master, okay, to do the household things, okay, and I will treat you a little bit better, okay, than your brothers out in the field. So he made a pact with his master to do this, okay. So what happens? All the oppression and the super exploitation happening to these slaves some of those benefits, okay, not only go to the oppressor, but also goes to the house Negro. Okay, so he's reaping benefits from the super oppression and super exploitation of the slaves. So not only is he oppressed, but he's also aiding the oppression of the slaves and reaping benefits from their oppression. So he would also be considered an oppressor. Okay. And when I make reference to, house Negro, field Negro, this is not just about a so-called dark race, okay, because house Negro can refer to anybody who's working in this first world country, okay, and still oppressed. You just like the house Negro. You're not oppressed, but you're not as oppressed as a third world citizen, okay. So you're comfortable in your oppression, okay. And that mentality needs to come out of the people, okay, because when you get too comfortable, you just don't perpetuate it, okay. Keep perpetuating the system of oppression, and thus you're taking part in it, okay. So a major overhaul of the mental thinking of the masses in the first world needs to change. Let's take it to an even modern day scale. Okay. Let's look at the jobs. Okay, most of us have jobs. All right. Let me think of a simple job. Walmart, for example. Let's go to cashiers. Okay. They make what? Now, now, when you think on a global scale, this is the only way you could understand this. Okay. Before I get into that, okay, us in America, okay, those who are the poor of the poor in America are third world citizens, okay, in America. But globally, we are first world citizens, okay, and there's still third world citizens globally out in the world, okay. But in America, we are considered to be third world citizens just because of, especially if you're a man of color, okay, and in the state of the economic state that we're in. But let me get back to this. You got the Walmart owner, the workers, okay, and this third class. Now, this third class is the ones who work in these brutal conditions in sweatshops, making pennies a day, okay. Most make $1 a day or less, okay, making products for these oppressors like Walmart, which is the subject right now. So you get employed by Walmart, right? So basically you're making a pact with Walmart. The only way you're making your $9, $10 an hour is because you're reaping the benefits from who is super exploited, the third world citizens of the world. Okay. So they making the things for the first world. Okay. These third world citizens are making the things for the first world that most of the first world consumes, throws away, puts to waste. The third world is making a lot of wastefulness. Okay. That's why you see a lot of wasteful things in first world countries. I mean, they throw away food, things of this nature. And the third world is the one who's laboring for these things. But the first world is reaping the benefits. Okay. Okay. So the only reason you making $9, $10 an hour is because you made a pact with the oppressor to help aid him in the oppression and to keep that oppression going. Okay, and you reap the benefits off of the labor of this super exploited third world citizen. All right, this is the only way this can work. So you are actually partaking in the sins and the exploitation and don't even know it. You think you just living you think you just living to make $1 justfully. Don't they say in America that's an honest living, right? That's what my teacher told me. They call that an honest living. But are you really doing things honestly? Okay? Because you are reaping the benefits off the exploited, the super exploited. But when you look at things locally, if you only look at things with tunnel vision, you'll think you the oppressed, you the bottom of the bottom. But there's people worse off than you. Okay, you live in a first world country. They live in third world countries. They mass produce for first world countries and see little back from it. You reap benefits to where you can throw away food, throw away clothes, cut up this, cut up that. You understand? So that's just the reality of things. Okay, so we are partaking in the sins of the system. Even if you're a worker, you're not only are you exploiting the lower class because you're making profit off of their labor, you're also being exploited, okay, by the masses. So you're in a what they call a catch-22, okay. Now, the most revolutionaries and political economists who are revolutionaries for the freedom movement, or should I say even most Marxists, label all working class people the proletariat, okay, which means the working class, if you're in the first world or if you're in the third world. But when you look at things like how my brother broke it down, just on a small scale, on the local scale. But if you look globally, the third world oppressed are a class of their own. Okay, because they are the super exploited. They make the multiple materials for the first world. They're making throwaway goods for the first world, which we are part of the first world that have these throwaway goods, okay, and are damaging the earth because of it, okay. So they're making goods for the first world class, which we are part of. That's why so many exploited people in the first world love capitalism, because even though they're exploited, they're reaping the benefits from somebody, okay, which that is the super exploited, okay. So it just makes sense. We can't even, the exploited in America cannot consider themselves the same class as the exploited over in Asia or parts of Africa, okay, because they need everything. We throw away things. Okay? We call ourselves exploited, which we are, but we're also exploiting them because we're benefiting off of their labor. Okay, and they produce things for us to throw away, and we revel in that. Okay, we have fun and we join these things. That's why most of these Negroes will never wake up out of these shackles of capitalism. Okay. So, with that being said, I just want to give all praise to the Most High, all power to the people.